All right, we are recording. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of 2 O'Clock Talks. It's always 2 o'clock somewhere.
But that is not here.
Want to know where it is at, though?
Where is it 2 o'clock this time?
It is 2:33 a.m. in Iceland.
Iceland.
Iceland's capital, actually. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it.
You probably shouldn't.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try. But it's 2 a.m. in Iceland. So that's where it's 2 a.m.
One of these times we'll get at 2 a.m. here again.
Yeah, maybe.
But hey.
Until then.
It'll be 2 o'clock somewhere.
That's for sure. I'm going to try to get this mouse to disappear. Let's see if it will. If not, I'm going to have to pick a different place because it's really distracting.
You got to do what you got to do.
I'll just put it, I don't know. Jeez. Maybe if I just keep it right there.
Again, once we have that solid video editing software, we won't have to worry about this.
Yeah, but that's okay. I'm going to put it in the corner. Will it disappear? Will it disappear? That's a big question. I mean, I feel like we should just start, and then I can just mess around with the mouse as we're talking about it.
I mean, what did we do last time?
I don't even remember. Apparently I did that. Don't know what I did, but looks pretty clean.
Hey, if it works, it works.
Mm-hmm. I think so, too. All right, Brennan, so what are we going to talk about today?
Well, I figured we already did an episode about movies we're excited for.
Sure.
Why not go over some of the TV shows that we are currently invested in?
America's favorite pastime.
Sure.
All right, so I suppose I could start. One of the TV shows that I've been watching recently is Cutthroat Kitchen.
Yes, a wonderful show.
Yes, I know you're a fan. You're actually the one who got me started on that show, believe it or not. So Cutthroat Kitchen, okay, I don't even know where to begin with Cutthroat Kitchen.
Everything you want in a cooking competition.
All right, so it's hosted...
Well, that's what you should say. Cooking competition is...
Okay, first of all, 4 chefs, $25,000 each, and then throughout it, they slowly lose $25,000.
How exactly do they lose their money? Like, what goes on there?
I'm sure you know, but we're going to tell the audience anyway. So how they lose their $25,000 is they have bidding competitions for sabotages, so they can sabotage their opponent's dish because it's a competition. So the best dish will win. It's hosted by Anton Brown, I believe is his name.
I think it might be Alton Brown.
I think you're right. I think Alton Brown sounds more accurate than Anton Brown. Dude, he's going to come to my house and cut my throat for that.
Yeah, Alton Brown. Alton.
Yeah. He hosted Good Eats for the longest time on the Food Network.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he went to Cutthroat Kitchen.
He's actually, I believe he's been a host of a number of different shows.
I couldn't tell you. I know he was on Good Eats, and I know he hosts Cutthroat Kitchen. It's a good show, Cutthroat Kitchen. There's
Do you have any favorite sabotages?
Oh, anyone where they take away the prepping station and replace it with another form of a prepping station. For example, in one of the episodes, they replace the prepping station, so basically where they prepare their food and all that stuff. The table that they get to use to like cut and everything like that. One time they replaced it with a ball pit, so I thought that was pretty interesting.
The ball pit was good. I like the double-decker bus prepper station, but I think my favorite ones are when they get all of the utensils taken away.
Oh,
and they have to use something that is definitely not meant to be a cooking utensil.
Yeah.
And they just look at the camera and they go, "What am I going to do with this?" "Oh, I'm going to cook with it."
I mean, there's a lot of out-of-the-box thinkers when it comes to those sabotages. Whether if it's, just thinking of what sabotage to give to them or how the chefs get around it, it is impressive.
Mm-hmm. I know I definitely would not be able to move forward. If someone gave me a simple task, I'm like, okay, you can do this, but we're gonna make it as hard for you as possible.
I don't even think I could keep up with like the recipes. Like some of like they seem like simple recipes, but I don't know that off the top of my head. You
Well-
only get 60 seconds to get all of your
Yeah,
ingredients.
that was like the episode where they were supposed to be making biscuits and gravy,
Okay.
and one of the competitors thought he heard him say brisket and gravy.
Well, see, that's kind of a not a good news because a brisket is a type of meat.
Yes.
That's not a biscuit, which we all know is a bread.
So yeah, they ended up like, oh, it's okay, because he was a foreigner. He had a very thick accent,
I
and
see.
so they're like, oh, as long as it has good flavor, we
Yeah.
won't. It's not an immediate disqualification.
Right.
And you know what? He didn't get eliminated because he had the best gravy.
Oh, interesting. And that's half of the
Half of biscuits and gravy.
is the gravy. Another thing that happens quite often in the show is people forget a key ingredient.
Yeah, self-sabotage.
Yeah, like for one time I remember they were making some sort of pasta and one contestant forgot to grab noodles.
Yeah, that'll do it.
So when a sabotage came around saying that you would have to replace the pasta that you have with the sabotage pasta, he actually bid on it just so he could have pasta.
That's clever,
Yeah, I mean it worked out for him in the end.
Um,
Oh, we're thinking. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Tip of the tongue?
yeah, I'm trying to remember a certain episode.
I see.
It was a very, very entertaining sabotage. Oh yes, they had to hold hands while cooking,
Interesting.
and instead of having the two people that were beside each other,
Oh.
the person who won the sabotage did it to the two people on the far ends. So they actually had to move around
Ooh,
and switch
interesting.
stations.
Interesting. So that's a lot of movement. That's kind of tough in a kitchen because they're only given 30 minutes to cook each one, and then they usually do some sort of appetizer, main course, and
Sometimes it's not even appetizer; it's just a course, and
then
a dessert.
Yeah, and then each one you eliminate one chef as you go. So eventually, there's only one chef. Yeah, it's a very good show. I recommend checking it out just because the hosts and the sabotage are just
It's entertaining,
hilarious.
whether you like cooking shows or not. It's a fun competition that is relatively enjoyable.
Yeah, you can catch it on the Food Network. I don't know when they run it on the Food Network, but it's also on Hulu. It's produced by the Food Network too. I feel like we should probably say that
Yeah, just
just in case.
Just
cover our
in case.
bases. We don't own Cutthroat Kitchen. We're not sponsored by Cutthroat Kitchen either.
but in the odd chance that they wanted to,
I have no objections
No
to having
objections.
Cutthroat Kitchen sponsor us.
it's never gonna happen.
I wouldn't say never.
I 100% would, for two key reasons. Reason one, we have nothing to do with cooking.
Yet.
Two, they're never going to find out about us.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, I see you.
Yeah,
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
that's a pretty big part of getting a sponsor in the first place.
Is getting noticed.
Yep. But thank you, 9 people who are currently noticing us. We appreciate it.
9. I think that's a new record.
Oh, we had 12 for a second.
12
Yeah.
for a second.
Yeah, we were up to 12.
I would kiss every single one of them individually.
I would give them a firm handshake and say
Professional.
thank you.
Yeah, I think I'd probably do that too. That's a little bit more professional. Brennan and I are just going to sip on our tea.
Sure, that's great to listen to.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And we're down to 6. We knocked 3 off because of
Oh,
that.
no. Whether it's because we noticed the viewers or if because of the tea.
I don't know.
Either way.
All right.
We can move on. We can
Moving
move
on. A show that I've been getting into recently
Yes.
is Forged in Fire.
Interesting. That's with the blacksmiths, correct?
Yes, it is a forging competition, as the name would entail.
Sure.
It It's on the History Channel.
Okay.
And Hulu, if
It's also
you have
Hulu.
that. But the premise of the show is four blacksmiths come
Okay.
into a competition. It's a 3-round competition. The first round, they're given some sort of metal, whether it's something that would typically be used or something that would absolutely never be considered. I know one of my favorite episodes was where they just brought in an old car. Like, the metal you have to use to make your knife is right there.
Wow.
So-
I remember watching an episode with you, and they had to use a chainsaw
Yep.
for making their knives.
Yeah, and so it's really interesting. The first round, they have to make a blade. Then the second round, they have to make it complete. They sharpen it and make a handle for it. Make it fully functional, because then it has to go through a set of tests.
Right.
And so they are rated on the usability
Mm-hmm.
and just sort of the looks.
What makes a knife a knife?
Yeah, exactly.
Sure, I get you. Very similar to Cutthroat Kitchen, almost. with it
Most
being-
competition shows.
Yeah, because there's four go in, 3 rounds, one will leave.
Yeah. I feel like any competition with 4 people has to have at least 3 rounds.
I guess that makes a
Because
lot
if
of
someone
sense.
gets eliminated each time,
Okay, that's fair.
4 minus 3
Yeah.
is 1.
Okay. That's pretty simple math. I should have been able to keep up with that a little bit faster.
So yeah, really interesting show.
So what entices you to it? Like, what got you hooked on the show?
It is really interesting to watch someone take just either a plain block of metal or the chains from a chainsaw
Sure.
or an old wrench and just put it in a big old fire,
Yeah.
whack it with a hammer a few times,
Okay.
and now all of a sudden they're cutting a pig in half with it.
Wow.
Like, it's amazing to see what people can do with their hands.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Absolutely crazy.
Crazy. So, what kind of is it? The same kind of knife every episode?
No.
Or?
Well, you see, most of the time they have just a standard. The first knife you make it in your own style. It just has to be within a certain length. The blade has to be within a certain length. The tang has to be within a certain length. The overall can't be above or below
Okay.
a set number. So the first one is sort of just to see what a blacksmith likes to do. But they do tell them what the challenges are going to be.
Okay.
And so they've got to make something that will work well in the challenges.
I see.
And then the final 2 are presented with some weapon from history. And that's a different weapon from history each episode that they have to recreate
Interesting.
in slightly their own style, but it has to be historically accurate as well.
Sure.
And then they compete against each other with those 2, and the winner gets, I believe, $10,000.
Interesting. Okay. Good. Cool. So 2 very cool shows.
Yeah.
Both competition styles. 4 contestants.
Competition shows are just always entertaining. That sense of who's gonna win,
Yeah.
seeing people's skills, watching people fail. As much as some of us wouldn't like to admit, that's one of the better parts of watching a competition show.
And unlike some competition shows, you already know who the winner is by the end because it's not like a
Oh
continuation
yes,
throughout.
it's someone
just
wins
4
each
enter,
episode.
1 walks out each episode. And I think knowing right away is like another thing. It's like you don't feel obligated to keep
Yeah.
coming back.
It's just something you can throw on, watch the episode, be done with it.
There you go. Easy peasy.
Exactly.
Very similar. You can catch both of those on Hulu, I believe is what we said. Forged in the Fire and Cutthroat Kitchen. And if not, if TV is more of your style.
Which why would it be at this point?
I mean, yeah, streaming is the thing that exists and it's cheaper than cable. But I mean, hey, if that's your thing, Cutthroat Kitchen's on the Food Network and Forged in Fire is on the History Channel. Very cool. You know what? Let's talk. Let's get into the realm of cartoons.
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 What sort of cartoons do you have for us?
I'm thinking kind of getting into a little bit of nostalgia.
All right.
Remember the TV show Chowder?
Wouldn't forget it.
2007 Cartoon Network era. It's also kind of a cooking show, but it's in a it's in a make-believe world, so obviously everything is made up because like I can't remember anything off the top of my head, but
all the foods that they make.
yeah, there's a lot of like food-based puns.
Well, all of the characters' names are food items.
Oh yeah, like Chowder, he's our main character. Obviously, Chowder is a type.
Schnitzel.
Yeah, Schnitzel, Mung Dal, and Truffles. That's your main cast, and then there's reoccurring characters like Endive, Panini, Gazpacho, Gorgonzola. Man, my mouth is starting to water.
Just thinking about it all.
Yeah.
But no, I can't remember any dishes. Grapples.
I
remember the grapples.
Like grab apples, because they're apples that kind of
The
latched
any
on.
fruits.
Oh yeah, that's true. And
I don't know if that's what they were called.
I don't remember either.
But
man, this is embarrassing for how much I watch this show.
yeah. Well, they all have such crazy names. It's easy to remember what was going on in the episode over what was
That's true.
being cooked in
That's
the
true.
episode.
But like something very cool about the episode is that a lot of the characters, either their clothing or their like skin is made of like almost a wallpaper type background.
Yeah, that
And then
doesn't.
as they move through the frame, like the background remains stagnant as they move through it. Like
So it's just an outline moving
yeah,
in the
so like
background.
yeah, so the pattern I think is really interesting. It's actually like really visually pleasing
Yes.
to watch at.
Definitely.
Yeah, so like even if you're not really like about the silly content that Chowder and Cartoon Network is putting out, because
Which, I mean, why
is a kid
wouldn't
show.
you? I mean, it's
Sure,
hilarious.
it holds
It's gonna
up.
be less than intelligently captivating.
Yeah,
But why do you need that?
it holds up.
Yeah, at the end
I'll
of the
be
day-
honest with you, it holds up.
Watch a 15-minute episode of Chowder.
And if not, it's colorful. It's just silly, so you can just put it on. It's just background noise, and it's fun to look at every now and then. Yeah. Brendan's yawning.
Sorry,
That's okay.
I was trying to do it silently. I hope it didn't get picked up.
I don't think it did, but we're giggling about it, so I'm gonna mention it.
Might as well. Anything else about Chowder?
No, I'm good. If you want to pick
Good.
your next TV show to talk about.
The next TV show I have is actually it's an anime, so it's
Oh.
still technically cartoon.
Just a lot more hardcore.
Definitely. Especially with this one, it's Mob Psycho 100. The second season just got wrapped up here this past Monday. Last episode came out.
Okay.
It's an amazing show. It's made by the same people who made One Punch Man.
Okay.
And so it's not one of those that are super serious or that you've got to religiously watch. It's silly, it's funny, but at the same time it's got huge action sequences, giant fights,
I see.
protagonist that's just ridiculously powerful and he doesn't really care about it. He just wants to be a normal kid.
Okay.
And so I think it's a really fun show to watch because you see some characters struggling with powers,
Sure.
and then the main character is just trying to go through normal life, and everything around him just keeps trying to pull him back into like the world of powers and ghosts and demons and all that sort of fun jazz. He's like, I just want to get a girlfriend and get an A on this test. One really funny episode, they try to get him to join the telepathy club because
Okay.
they need one more member, and they know that he has powers from in grade school. And the whole episode they're trying to talk to him, trying to get him in. He's considering it. It's like, well, I could. It'd give me something to do after school because he's crazy unpopular.
Yeah.
And so he's not in any club, so he just goes home after school. So he's like, well, I could have friends, I'd have something to do. And at the end of the episode, it just completely spins a 180 and he joins the workout club instead.
Oh.
Because he's like, I got to get strong. And everyone's like, why do you need muscles? You have psychic powers. He goes, to get girls. Because he just wants to be a normal person.
Sure, he just wants to be a normal kid. Now, I haven't seen anything about this show. Tell me about, like, the animation style. Of
Animation style. Well, you've seen some of One Punch Man, right?
I have seen a little bit of One Punch
It
Man.
is pretty much the exact same
Okay.
animation style. The visuals in it, though, are amazing. The way that they animate the psychic powers.
Okay.
It's all like light based for the majority of it, and so it's light in colors.
Sure.
And the way the fight sequences go about is amazing. You know, in shows when like bombs go off and sort of things just like depixelate,
Yeah.
that happens a lot. And to me, that's a very pleasing,
I see.
very pleasing animation to see.
I would see. I do see. So we're on the topic of a little bit more action heavy. So I'm not necessarily an action heavy is my next show. Back to Cartoon Network. Back to a kid show.
Well, I mean, if you're talking cartoons, Cartoon Network is the place to be.
It is a place to be. I'm still like it's gonna be a little bit of nostalgia still, but not so far back. Remember the show Adventure Time? I'm sure
Of
you
course
do.
I do.
Huge thing when we were in probably middle school and high school.
Yeah, I mean, I finished watching it here in college.
I'm still going through it in college. I recently got hooked on it, like, cause like when it was first coming out, it was like, meh. It's
Yeah.
like it's one of those dumb Cartoon Network shows that they're coming out with, cause like they released like a bunch of new shows like all at once, like Adventure Time and regular show.
Yeah.
And then they started getting like really weird shows like
Uncle Grandpa.
And then so like since those were all coming out at the same time, we all kind of thought it's just like,
Oh, they're all gonna be garbage.
yeah, they're all
There's
gonna
no
be
point
like
in
really
watching
dumb,
them.
stupid kids things, like super like it's just to like keep kids distracted while like mom is making dinner. But when you actually like get, I'll admit though, Adventure Time for like the first couple of seasons, that's all that it is. It is just really silly stuff.
Mm-hmm. And there's no plot line. It's just episode by episode.
Yeah,
them
like
goofing
you can just
around.
really just kind of hop in wherever in those first couple of seasons, and you're not gonna be behind on anything.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like the further it goes along, like they actually kind of start focusing on a story,
Mm-hmm.
and they also start focusing on character development, and their animation style improves as well. Like you just start to notice like it's slightly improved, which makes sense. Like as you go through, you're gonna get more funding than when you're first starting out.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then, as I said, character development, and you start getting a story, and, like, things start becoming, like, in canon, like, in one episode. Well, actually, I don't want to say that because it's kind of a spoiler. I'll just say, in one episode, Finn the human, so he's our main character.
Yeah.
He gets this bracelet, and then in the next episode, he's still wearing the bracelet.
I cannot think of what you're talking about, and I have seen the entire show.
I know you've seen the entire show, so I'm gonna just grab a piece of paper and write it down. So not to give out spoilers.
Ah,
Okay,
yes.
yeah. So he remembers. I'm not gonna give out the spoiler. Just watch Adventure Time if you want. If you want to know what I'm talking about.
Ooh, one of our viewers asked us what our opinion of the Looney Tunes is.
Ooh, I loved watching Looney Tunes, and every time Looney Tunes comes on, like during the prime time hours, so like 3 a.m,
Yeah.
a lot of the times like WB will issue, it's like these cartoons are products of their time.
Yeah.
They don't change it at all, so it's just like because it was made back in the Looney Tunes is pretty old. I don't want to say the wrong year. So it's pretty dated. It's pretty old.
Well, they've been going for so long.
That's true. Big fan of Looney Tunes, especially the movies. But,
Oh, yes. Of
they
course.
said that they were products of their time, so they didn't edit it at all. So, like, all the,
You get to see cartoons as they were throughout the ages.
yeah.
Was
Whether
that
that,
necessarily...
politically correct or
Yes.
not. They're, like... It was a product of its time. Racism was a thing, and
And it
is
was
a thing.
heavily,
And there's a lot,
heavily showed.
yeah, or implied.
Implied, yeah, that should be.
We'll say implied because it
Implied.
wasn't necessarily shown.
Yeah.
But it was implied, and it's pretty obvious when it is implied. So, I mean, but I think it's important. It kind of shows a progression of cartoons.
We just had someone bring up the original Teen Titans, which, to me, was one of the show-defining
Yes.
things of my
childhood.
Upper childhood, lower teens.
I'll say
Like that was that and Avatar: The Last Airbender were the shows that were like, what are you? A show can be something that has like an overall arcing
yeah.
like plot. Like you can get invested in a show.
Yeah, you can have, plot, story, character development, all within a TV show.
And
Which-
that was one of the first 2 shows that I saw. I was like,
Yeah. So like for
Wow.
cartoons, it was kind of a brand new thing to like actually have like story arcs
well,
throughout a TV
for
show.
cartoons that were targeted towards
Yeah,
younger
younger
audiences.
kids. And like there's like a lot of like themes that not necessarily are like marketed, quote unquote. You don't really market themes towards
Yeah.
kids, but like there's a I can't remember if there's I lost my train of thought. But Teen Titans, I'm just going to go on a completely different train of thought. But Teen
That's okay.
Titans, the original Teen Titans has such an insane animation style for its time, almost. Like, very obviously it's a cartoon, but, like, there's quite a bit of realism with it. And then, like, it's very similar to the animation style, probably because they were both made by Cartoon Network, so it's probably the same animation team. But, like, Ben 10, the
Yeah.
original, like, 2005 Ben 10.
Which, may I say, Ben 10, Ben 10 Alien Force,
Yep.
Ben 10 Ultimate Alien, there are no other Ben 10s. That's it.
Yeah.
Anything other than those is a mistake and should be retconned immediately.
Which one was Humongosaur? Was that Alien
That was
Force?
Alien Force and Ultimate Alien.
Yeah. I mean, I liked that. I liked going throughout. I like the original Ben 10 the most though, where he starts
course.
off with the 10. I'm not saying that like Omniverse or whatever doesn't have its merits. I've never seen it. Just
I
because-
have. It doesn't have its merits.
It doesn't
It's
hold
not
up.
good. It takes away everything that made the show good.
All right, I believe that wholeheartedly. It just like it didn't really seem appealing. It like kind of moved away again from like actually having a story and stuff, just to be marketed towards just silly little cartoons to keep people distracted.
All right, next one someone brought up was Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, which I'll be honest, I didn't watch too much. I did watch
didn't
it
either.
a decent amount, and the movie for that show where Walt goes
Yeah,
and finds his original creator, and
Okay.
it turns out to be Michael Jordan.
that actually makes
That
a
show,
load of sense.
that movie was amazing. I
Okay.
loved that.
Speaking of Michael Jordan, since we're with Michael Jordan,
Oh,
I
we
did
can-
want to talk about the Looney Tunes movies.
Okay, yeah,
Specifically,
we'll go
like
back to the
Space
Looney
Jam
Tunes.
and Back in Action, because those are the only 2 Looney Tune movies I know. I'll start with Space Jam. I love that movie.
It's hard to not love Space Jam.
Just both of the Looney Tune movies somehow have a really nice blend of crossing over cartoon with the real world.
Yeah.
Because it all takes place in the real world, and then they just put in, like, Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck after the fact. So the
Which,
fact that...
imagine how hard it would be to
Yeah.
act to just a voice.
Yeah, because they didn't have character models. They didn't
Mm-hmm.
have any, like, green screen to work off of. They literally had to work with open air and pretend that it was, Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny. They do a phenomenal job, by the
Absolutely
way.
phenomenal.
Like, even Michael Jordan, who isn't really an actor, he still does a really good job. Anyway, yeah, so I just thought I'd mention that. Back in Action, by the way, all-star cast.
Phenomenal. I'd say my favorite part of the movie is when they're eating lunch in the WB lounge,
Oh, yeah?
and they have all like characters from all WB
Yeah.
cartoons.
Yeah.
Not WB. Yeah,
Yeah,
WB.
Warner
Oh,
Brothers.
yeah.
Yeah, you got it right.
Second guess myself for a second. And then Shaggy is yelling at oh shoot, what's the guy who plays Shaggy in the live action?
Matthew Lillard.
Matthew Lillard, thank you.
Yeah.
And he's yelling at him for making him too spacey. So you do that one more time. Oh no, that great movie. All right, we have a few more
Yeah, go into
suggestions.
it.
We got
Absolutely.
Life of a Teenage Robot,
Okay.
which I watched a decent amount.
I saw a little bit of it.
To recall a whole lot of details, I know that I had nightmares from the episode where they made her a skin suit to try and look like a normal teenage girl,
I don't even wanna
and
think
then the
about that.
suit came to life.
I don't want to think about that. Skip next.
Terrifying. I stopped watching the show for a long time because it scared me.
Yeah. Skip. Next. We're gonna keep going.
Next.
I don't even want to think about that.
All right, we've got. Someone brought Avatar: The Last Airbender because I mentioned that.
Okay.
Easily, that's got to be my favorite
Go into it. Why?
TV show. Why? The amount of story, the character development.
Yeah.
It's easy to watch. It's fun. It's funny.
Okay.
Like, I have watched and rewatched that probably more than any other series.
Okay. Would you say it's easy to follow?
Oh yes,
Okay.
definitely. Every episode just flows to the next one.
Okay. So you can keep up.
And each chapter or each book, as it's called, it has its overall challenges and then the mini challenges and hurdles that they've got to get through throughout the way. And the continuity in that show is amazing.
Sure.
I know. When they're in the Earth Kingdom.
Yeah.
And he gets struck by lightning and temporarily loses the ability to go into the Avatar state. He has the lightning strike that goes through above him and where it came out of his foot.
Oh.
And then on the final episodes where he's fighting the Fire Lord, you can see the bottom of his foot again. He still has that scar both on his back and the bottom of his foot. And so that's got to be one of my favorite. I've been wanting to get the box set of DVDs for a long time.
I'm sure.
I still haven't watched Korra.
I've heard great things.
Me too,
about
and
the
I'm
Adventures of
frustrated
Korra.
with myself because once I have the money and I buy the box sets, I'm gonna buy both because it'd be ridiculous to buy one without buying the other.
It's kind of like that's the thing with sister shows. It's just like, you don't necessarily need to. It's just expanding upon.
And then I'll just go all the way through all of them, and I'll cry when it's done. All right, next up on the list of suggestions, we've got American Dragon Jake Long.
Ooh, I remember watching that.
That was a fun show to watch.
It was a fun little show. Like, I wouldn't say it really got into like really hardcore themes, but I think there was like a lot of.
It was just entertaining.
It was an entertaining show, and like there's not a lot of Asian American representation, especially in cartoons.
Yep.
So, pretty good show. I don't know much about it because I didn't really watch
it.
it.
That reminds me of the Jackie Chan show that went on. The animated.
I completely forgot about that.
I loved that show.
Yeah,
that was
for sure.
That was great. And the intro sequence where it'd go back and forth between Jackie in the real world fighting off ninjas and then go to the animated one.
Yeah.
Young Me was like, "Whoa, how are they doing that?" So I thought that was really cool. Fairly Odd Parents next on the list.
Butch Hartman did the drawing for that show.
Yeah.
I follow him on Twitter.
He wrote the
storyboards. Maybe.
No, I'm thinking of Danny Phantom. He wrote the song for the intro for Danny Phantom.
Yeah, Butch Hartman, you'll know him from, of course, Very Odd Parents, Tough Puppy, Danny Phantom. Basically, just about every animated Nickelodeon show from from like 2000 to maybe 2010 that is not SpongeBob was basically Butch Hartman. He is a phenomenal artist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Uh,
Follow him on Twitter. He still makes like little drawings every now and again.
I know he
good.
did the cast of Fairly Odd Parents and the cast of Danny Phantom grown up.
Yes.
Which I thought was
Absolutely.
really cool.
I'd say just follow him on Twitter and just like look through his pictures that he posts because a lot of them are his own drawings and like a lot of it's really cool stuff. He also has a YouTube channel.
Yep, I have
check
gone
that
to his
out.
YouTube channel.
Yeah, so I'd recommend checking it out because that's all that show was Butch Hartman and then his team and everything like that.
Next up, someone brought up the new Spider-Man, which is technically animated, but it's an animated movie, so I think we should leave that for a different...
Into the Spider-Verse?
Yes.
Yeah, dude, that's an episode on its own.
Yeah,
I could talk
we
about
could we could do easily a whole episode on just that.
And I'm on 18%.
Yeah.
So
all right,
we'll save that one for another time.
The next we've got
Here,
Johnny Test.
I kind of watched it. Wasn't really a big fan of Johnny
I never
Test.
got hugely into it.
I just there wasn't really enough story there for me.
It was a goofy show that could go on in the background. It was never something that would like fully pull my attention in.
Yeah, that's for sure.
We got Kim Possible, which amazing.
It was a very good show.
Didn't need a reboot. I'd like to throw that out there.
It got rebooted.
Yep, live action.
Oh,
unnecessarily.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's happening a lot with old media. It's like it started as a cartoon, now it's getting live action.
I have looked into it because I enjoyed Kim Possible a lot, and I can tell you
it won't hold up.
It doesn't hold up.
I don't even need to look at it.
Yeah,
I can tell you that.
When
you go from animation to real world,
it's a finicky line.
It's a very finicky line. It's very hard to do. Movies are doing that too, especially Disney
movies. It's easier to do that though. You have
much
better budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the times it's still animated.
Yep. Like it's CGI. A lot of it's CGI.
Yeah. So like a lot of people are saying, "Are you gonna watch the new live action Lion King?" And I say, "Hey, could you repeat that real quick? It's still all computer generated."
100%. It's just better animation.
It's more realistic.
It's not filmed in Africa.
They don't have real lions,
which is disappointing.
Yeah, it's still all computer generated. I cannot tell you how much it infuriates me when people say the live action Lion King. No. Until they have lion actors singing and dancing and interacting without acting upon their instincts, maybe I'd believe you. But until that day, it is still a computer generated. You can say the rebooted Lion King or the new Lion King, and I will know what you're talking about. Do not say the live action. It is not live action.
All right, we'll try to simmer down. Let's touch a little bit more on Kim Possible, because I think that show deserves a lot more credit.
Okay.
First of all, one thing that did that not a whole lot of other shows or kid shows did around that time was it flipped the main character sidekick towards a female main character and the weak male sidekick, which had wonderful character development with both of them, by the way.
Yeah.
And I thoroughly enjoyed every aspect of that show, and I still want to go to that nacho place because no one has ever sufficiently cheesed nachos like that place.
True. Well, if we're gonna talk about females in the lead, kind of being the more stronger ones, Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, yeah,
that was my show growing up. I'll admit it. Like, I have Powerpuff Girls on VHS from when it was on TV, and then we recorded it. That's really old school. But yeah, I just had 3 or 4 tapes. It's just Powerpuff Girls for a couple of hours. That's just all we would watch growing up.
What is his name? Mr. the Crab Drag Queen?
Oh, him.
Him. Yeah, he scared the shit out of me when I was younger.
Yeah. He scared me too quite a bit.
Yeah, he was terrifying.
So much for our family-friendly rating.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Anytime he'd come up, it'd be like hardcore music, dark light, and he'd just be creeping up.
He was a scary, creepy dude, and then the voice actor, I can't remember what they did, but they overlapped his voice, and then they put the frequency higher and then the frequency lower and played all three of them at the same time.
The warpiness.
It was,
scary,
definitely, man. It worked for exactly the way that they wanted to.
It was just scary.
Yeah, he was really scary. But, there was a lot of wacky characters, but, still, each one of them was powerful, and just about anyone that wasn't a villain was super accepting, and I loved that.
Also, the mayor and the mayor's assistant.
Yes.
Mayor total dunce. It was the assistant that was the brains of the operation.
Basically running the show. That's true. You never see her face either.
You don't. Which I always thought was a weird thing with cartoons, back in the day, where you just never saw the top of adults.
That's true. Yeah, but you would,
And it was weird.
Got a little bit of a phone going off there. That's okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Any other requests for shows? Not really.
Oh no, we have a ton of requests.
All right,
we've got. I don't even want to touch Teen Titans Go.
Oh, I'll touch Teen Titans Go.
You want to touch Teen Titans Go?
Yeah, I'll talk about it. It's I don't know, really. Oh shoot, my mouse is on screen again.
I think they took the defining aspects of the characters.
Yeah.
Got rid of that.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. People are saying it's a reboot, and I think
It's a revamp.
Yeah.
Is what I describe.
You have
it
to
as.
see them as two completely separate shows.
Yeah.
They acknowledge it in the show that it's not the same as the original Teen Titans. They mention it as just like, this old one had character development and plot and like actual stories, and then this is a cartoon. It's for kids. So I think once you separate it, like Teen Titans Go is not the original. Like it won't be as good as the original, but when you stop drawing comparisons about it, Teen Titans Go does hold up.
I don't think it does.
Okay.
Like I
understand it. Yeah,
not
it
holding
is-
up the comparison. It doesn't have solid story
Yeah.
for me. The jokes are
They're-
too overhanded.
Yeah, I will agree.
It's
that.
fart humor. It's a fart humor show.
Yeah, and like that's what Cartoon Network is these days.
Yeah.
Like especially when Uncle Grandpa, I think that was really the beginning. I'm not gonna talk about it either.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Thank you.
Uncle Grandpa, like I think that's when it started like getting into really goofy and the silly and like they didn't really care. It's like about more so like the super cartoony look and all that jazz. But not necessarily the show. Definitely watch the movie.
Oh yeah, the movie was entertaining.
I
I'll give
watched
you
the
that.
movie. I was going in with, oh, my battery is running low. You might want to plug in.
I
your
told
PC.
you. I told you should have charged it longer.
I don't have my charger with me, unfortunately, or otherwise I'd plug in. But the movie totally holds up. I went in like with zero expectations. I was thinking it was just going to be exactly like the show, just going to be dumb and the worst. I was completely wrong. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie start to finish. It kept me entertained the entire time. Watch the movie. Seriously.
All right. What else on the list? We got.
Pick a couple more and then we'll have to wrap it up.
Yeah, we'll get rid of Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah, that's not really a TV show.
No My Little Pony, please.
Didn't watch
For
it.
the love of God.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I did watch it a little bit. Friendship is Magic is actually kind of wholesome.
We've got the Rugrats, Recess.
Didn't really get onto those really hard.
Really?
No. Weren't on
See,
my radar as a kid.
When I was like super young, I watched Rugrats with my older brother.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I
mean, yeah, no doubt. Like, I've heard great things about Rugrats, and I bet it's a good show.
Recess, for some reason, I can't remember much about like the show itself, but the movies. I had those movies on VHS. I watched
okay.
those until the tape stopped working.
Yeah, that's true. I've seen the advertisements for it. I'm just like, haha, that looks silly. But I never did. It just never was on my radar.
All right.
Never in my home.
We got Fish Hooks. Never watched that.
Never seen. Nickelodeon show. That's all I know about it. I've heard good things.
The Lizzie McGuire show. Did you ever watch that?
Never on my radar.
Me neither. Gravity Falls. I know we both watched that. We both enjoy that one.
I do. I like. It's a very silly show, but it like still maintains like it takes itself seriously while still being lighthearted and fun.
Like it's overall completely lighthearted and funny.
Yeah,
With the threat of death at all times, and I think that is the funniest part.
that's very true.
Because there are points where the whole universe
Yeah.
is about to just stop.
Yeah,
Just stop.
right.
And they're like, uh-oh.
But then it just gets resolved by like a silly little thing.
Yeah, like
I said, like it starts off, I think, like not taking itself seriously, just being a silly little show, and they're just like, okay, now we throw on the plot and the character development and the story arcs and stuff like that. Yeah, kind of like Adventure Time.
There's just so much to it, and each of the characters has a ton of. I can't say each. All of the main characters definitely have a lot of depth to them.
All right. I'm sitting at 9, so probably pick
all right.
one more, and then we will have to definitely wrap it up if I want to get it on YouTube tonight. Pick a good one. We'll just keep going through it because there might be some that I might not have seen.
Well, right now, so we're between VeggieTales and Dexter's Laboratory.
Neither of those have been on my radar.
Really?
Yeah.
I've watched every single VeggieTales
Like,
up,
okay,
up
I've
until the reboot.
I've seen VeggieTales and I've seen Dexter's
I
Laboratory.
have Top 10 Silly Songs with Larry on DVD in my room right now.
I didn't need to know that. I mean, if you want to talk about it, go for it.
We'll see if there's anything on here that we can both talk about first.
All right,
Did I miss
all right.
anything? We've got the animated Hercules movie. Someone put through in there. That is a movie.
I would
so that
like
be
to talk
pushing.
about it, but we'll save it for another movie time. I'll write it down though. I think this is the most
there anything that
interaction
I
we've had with an audience.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys
Yeah.
for messaging.
This is
with
like
us.
what we
It's-
like. This is like Brendan and I wrote down 3 shows to talk about each.
Yeah, we didn't even hit my third show.
We didn't hit. Okay, we did hit.
Yeah,
my
we
third
got your
one. I was like
Um,
counting in the wrong order.
That 70s show was just mentioned.
Yeah,
Did
I
you-
watched it a little bit.
I've seen like maybe 2 episodes.
Nah, we can keep going. I don't really have much to talk about it. It's entertaining to watch. I'd
Yeah,
recommend
definitely
it.
funny. Would recommend.
Yeah, Red Foreman is hilarious.
Shoot, was there anything we missed up top?
If not, we can just talk about your third show and then wrap it up.
You know, honestly, I think 45 minutes at this point.
Oh, we can just call it there.
Call it. It's good. Thank you guys a ton for being interactive with us.
Yeah.
We loved it.
Appreciate it.
Again, if you'd like to throw out ideas for future videos, you can message us on Twitch here. You could leave comments on the YouTube videos. It's just 2 o'clock talks on YouTube.
Yep.
You can tweet at us. We're at 2talks on Twitter,
Yes.
and we now have an Instagram.
Yes. We
So
do.
check us out
That's
on
crazy.
Instagram. It's 2_o'clock_talks.
Yep.
Sure. We only have a few posts as of right now, but
Yeah.
you know, be sure to.
As we
Oh,
go.
now they mentioned Pokemon. We could have got into Pokemon.
Oh, dude, Pokemon is gonna take a little bit while to talk about.
That'll definitely. We'll touch on that later on.
Yeah, and as we're wrapping up the show, 2 a.m. in Cabo Verde again. I think that's where we ended.
Verde.
I think that's where we ended last. Or no, we ended. Was it in Portugal last time we ended? I don't know. Well, it doesn't matter. Cabo Verde. That's where it's 2 o'clock. I'm pretty sure